Well, let's talk about that Strait of Hormuz, because for decades, the Strait of Hormuz has been one of the world's most critical maritime corridors, a narrow waterway through which nearly 1/5 or 20% of the world's oil and LNG flows every single day. Now, connecting the Persian Gulf to the Arabian Sea, this corridor is used by energy exporters like Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Kuwait, Qatar and the UAE, in addition to Iran, and by the global economy that depends on their supplies. Roughly 20 million barrels of oil move through this passage daily, at least until February 28th, making it one of the most strategic shipping lanes on the planet. But in recent weeks, the strait had been at the center of escalating tensions between Iran and the US and Israel. After the conflict erupted earlier this year, Iran effectively restricted movement through the waterway, threatening tankers, striking vessels and sending global energy markets into shock. Shipping traffic dropped dramatically, insurance costs soared, and countries across Asia and Europe scrambled to manage fuel shortages. Now, a fragile ceasefire between Washington and Tehran appears to have brought temporary relief. Under the terms of the deal, Iran has agreed to guarantee safe passage for ships through the Strait of Hormuz, but only under coordination with Iranian authorities. Now, at first glance, this sounds like a reopening of the world's most vital energy artery. But let's look a little closer. The implications could be far more significant, because historically, the Strait of Hormuz has never belonged to any one country. Legally, the Strait of Hormuz is classified as an international strait used for global navigation, where ships from all nations have the right of transit passage. In other words, vessels traditionally move through this corridor freely and without needing permission from Iran or any other state for that matter. But today's arrangement appears to shift that balance. With ships now expected to coordinate passage with Iranian authority, Tehran is effectively asserting operational control over one of the world's most strategic waterways, and add to that, it's also adding a price tag of $2 million per ship that passes through the Strait of Hormuz. Now, that raises a big question. Has the United States, by agreeing to the ceasefire framework, tactically and tacitly accepted a new reality in the Gulf? A reality where Iran is no longer just a coastal state bordering the strait, but a gatekeeper controlling who passes through it. For decades, the Strait of Hormuz was treated as a global commons, open to all, governed by international law and freedom of navigation. But if passage now depends on Tehran's approval, the geopolitical equation could be shifting dramatically, because what we may be witnessing is not just a ceasefire. It may be the moment when the world's most important energy choke point quietly moved from international passage to Iranian leverage. And if that precedent holds, the status quo in the Gulf and global energy security may never be the same again.